Now, before we begin, I feel like I should get this out of the way. Keep an open mind. Avatar: The Way of Water is a sequel that I never really thought was ever going to happen, because James Cameron is returning, and you know how much of a perfectionist he is. You know that whenever he comes out with a movie, he wants to put the most time and effort possible into any of his projects, and this is a long-awaited sequel to a movie that is still the highest grossing movie of all time. And I've already reviewed the first Avatar movie on my channel, but you know that I have some issues with it. I mean, it's breathtaking, to say the very least, but the story and everything like that, So, can Avatar 2 live up to the hype? Jake Sully and Neytiri have now formed a family with 4 children, and they're doing everything possible to stay together. They must leave their home and explore the regions of Pandora, but when an ancient threat resurfaces, Jake must fight a difficult war against the humans/sky people. So let me get the biggest positive out of the way first, and it should be fairly obvious. It's the direction and the visuals. Like, leaving the first Avatar movie, I was, like, just I was spellbound by the majestic imagery that we got. And The Way of Water certainly gives you much more of the same here. I highly recommend, if you guys want the full Avatar: The Way of Water experience, you gotta see this in IMAX the biggest way possible. And if you can, see it in 3D, because I feel like that adds a whole lot to it. And yeah, some of the things that James Cameron has said in interviews lately can come off as arrogance to some people. But when you look at his body of work, and when you look at the way he approaches filmmaking, and then you go and see a movie like this, he has the right to show off. This is a man who made Terminator 2, one of the greatest sequels of all time, one of the greatest action movies of all time. This is the man who made Titanic as well. You can't really doubt him when it comes to film direction. His approach and everything surrounding the scope of this world. It is absolutely staggering, the attention to detail in every possible little creature. And these creatures are designed masterfully as well. This shares the biggest strength with the first Avatar movie of actually feeling like you're there on Pandora with these gigantic 10-foot tall blue aliens. And damn me, there's a lot of fucking blue people in this thing, like my word. And there's a couple of things that I feel like The Way of Water even does better than the first Avatar. First things first being the action. The final hour of this movie is just a gigantic explosion. Anything possible you want to see in a big blockbuster like this, you see it. And it's done really freaking well. I think the action in this sequel is certainly better than the first Avatar movie, as is the case with Sam Worthington's performance, who I found to be much more riveting and much more likable here. Because Jake Sully has fully embraced his avatar here, his soul and his essence in this gigantic 10-foot tall alien. And now we see him step into the role of leader, and he is really, really awesome. As is Zoe Saldana, who you already know was freaking awesome here. Neytiri is the role that made Zoe Saldana as famous as she is, and there's a couple of gut-wrenching scenes, especially towards the ending part of this movie, that just had me like, man, Zoe Saldana, you're great. Also really good in the movie is Kate Winslet as the leader of these reef people. She's like the queen of the reef people. I loved her in this movie. I think she completely embraces the regality of the role. And she certainly carries a lot of presence. Anytime you see Kate Winslet come into frame, it's awesome. It's a fantastic addition here. Stephen Lang in this movie is back, and that should give away who the villain is. He looks like he was having such a fun time doing this, and I was very entertained by him. But that leads me into my many issues that I have with Avatar: Way of Water. Okay, here we go. The villain is very much recycled from the first movie. Now, I get it. You're basically telling, a whole new narrative. It's a continuation. You're picking up pretty much exactly where you left off. But I don't know. I think for the next Avatar movie, I want to see new villains. I want to see Jake Sully fight these big savage brutes. Now, Stephen Lang has embodied himself in a 10-foot tall blue alien at this time as well. And he is really entertaining to watch. It's an excuse to bring Stephen Lang's character back into the Avatar fold. But for what I wanted to see out of this Avatar sequel, I wanted the villains to be more interesting. And to an extent, I kind of wanted some of these side characters to be more interesting than they were. Now, there is one character who is very, very important to this movie, and she is heavily advertised in this trailer. That's going to be their teenage daughter, Kitty. Now, Kitty is going to be very, very integral to the future Avatar sequels, and We're going to be finding out, you know, like who her father is and all that sort of nonsense. Like, she is going to be a pivotal plot point moving forward. Now, Kitty is played here by Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver is an actress I've loved for a long time. I've seen her in a lot of movies, but Kitty is like 14 years old. Sigourney Weaver, 73 years old right now. Like, you're telling me that there was not another teenage actress who was better for this part than Sigourney Weaver? This is not a knock on Sigourney Weaver at all, because she's throwing her freaking all and everything into this performance. But I just couldn't help but look at this character and feel super distracted that this was Sigourney Weaver playing it. And we're supposed to pass her off as a teenager. And oh my gosh, yeah, this screenplay, riddled with cliches. Very, very similar to the first Avatar film. Like, you can pretty much pinpoint a lot of similarities to other movies from the past that have probably done these cliches better than Avatar: The Way of Water does. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I counted at least 10 different references to The Lion King. And this young boy who's running around the jungle with the aliens, whose name is Spider, number one, I don't really know what his motivation was, because he does something for the good guys and then he does something for the bad guys, and it kind of got muddled in there, and I was like, this is probably the most wishy-washy character I've seen all year long. But his backstory, I kid you not, is pretty much identical to Mowgli's in the Jungle Book. Like, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. And you know, maybe this is just the Avatar formula. You do some simple stories and simple narratives that have worked in the past, and then you just throw the most gorgeous imagery that you possibly can. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I didn't enjoy watching Avatar: The Way of Water, because I did. Do I think it needed to be 3 hours? Absolutely not. There's some stuff that could have very easily been cut out of this runtime. And there's a point in the climax where a character actually alludes to the fact that something happened to them again. And I'm like, you really don't need to repeat the same gimmick. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm sitting here, like, happy that I saw the movie. I feel like I was gonna be bound to see The Way of Water eventually, just based off of sheer peer pressure. And I know a lot of people are gonna be going to see this over the holiday season, so if you love the original Avatar movie, you're gonna really, really dig The Way of Water. I enjoyed it for the most part. I found a lot of fun to be had with it. I thought Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana, seeing them again in the Avatar world was really, really awesome to see. It was great to see Kate Winslet again. Stephen Lang is a very, very, very fun villain. And seeing James Cameron's imagery on the biggest screen possible is just such a euphoric experience for a moviegoer. Now, because the story feels so derivative to a bunch of my other favorite movies, I don't know if I could sit here and say that this is one of the best movies of the year. This is certainly a strong movie. It's certainly very enjoyable. But man, those similar story elements I feel like are really going to hold this back for me. I'm going to give Avatar: The Way of Water a B+. Again, not a bad movie. It's just something that I feel like also could have been wrapped up within 2.5 hours or something like that. But guys, let me know what you thought of The Way of Water down in the comment section below. Is this your guys' favorite movie of the year? Honestly, I would not blame you if this tops some of your guys' lists, because it is damn beautiful. But I don't know. Let me know what you thought. Did you like this more than the previous Avatar movie as well? Let me know, because I love what I do here. I love making these videos. I love talking about all things cinema and entertainment in general. And if you're a new viewer, you're all invited to the party. Do consider becoming a subscriber. Hit that notification bell right next door, because trust me, going into the new year, you are not going to want to miss another upload. And guys, do me a favor and smash the like button as well. These really, really, really help get this content out there to more people. And stay tuned for more exciting content hitting this channel very, very soon. Guys, my lovely viewers, y'all are the best. Thank you so much again for tuning in. With all that being said, Back Talk, commence.